From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Amarachi Ubani.
Tonight, Supreme Court fixes February 26th to hear APC's application for review of the court's verdict on Bayelsa State governorship election. National Human Rights Commission condemns assault on judicial officers, calls for respect for their position, right to privacy and safety. Former President Goodluck Jonathan visits Edo State, commends performance of Governor Godwin Obaseki as state APC faction blames state government for escalating political tension. And Chinese authorities stress unremitting efforts in COVID-19 control, coordination on economic and social development. Plus, sports stories. A final decision may eventually be taken on the legal battle trailing the Bayelsa State governorship seat as the Supreme Court today fixed Wednesday, February 26th, to hear the application filed by the All Progressives Congress, which is seeking, among other things, a review of the court's February 13th judgment, which disqualified Mr. David Lyon as the Bayelsa State governor-elect. APC's legal team, led by Mr. Wole Olanipekun, is asking the Supreme Court to set aside some portions of its judgment where it held that the Federal High Court disqualified its governorship candidate along with its deputy governorship candidate, and where it held that the joint ticket of its candidates was vitiated by the disqualification of the deputy governorship candidate, and that both candidates are deemed not to be candidates in the election. The party is also asking the Supreme Court to set aside the portion of the judgment where it ordered INEC to declare as winner of the governorship election candidates with the highest number of lawful votes, and where it ordered INEC to withdraw the certificate of return issued to its governorship candidate and the issuance of fresh one to the candidate who had the highest number of lawful votes. The APC argues that it was wrong for the Supreme Court to have voided its candidate's participation in the election because the judgment by the Federal High Court, which disqualified its deputy governorship candidate, was stayed as at when the election was conducted. And it seems the controversy in Bayelsa State will not be dying anytime soon. Judging by the latest twist of the NYSC certificate controversy trailing the new sworn-in deputy governor of the state. Now the drama is beginning to look like one from the storybooks. First, the candidate of the APC and his running mate were disqualified by the Supreme Court over forged certificates with less than 24 hours to their inauguration, paving the way for the swearing-in of the PDP candidate and his running mate. Barely a week after the new governor and his deputy took their oath of office, allegations of certificate forgery also surfaced against the deputy governor, Senator Lawrence Erujakpo. Well, the latest twist in the saga is coming from the counsel to the deputy governor, Mr. Clement Kekemeke, who insists his client is not guilty of presenting a fake NYSC certificate.
Even before he ran for Senate, that was February 2019, before he ran for Senate, he had earlier written to NYSC seeking that correction. It had not been effected until he ran for the office of Senate. He presented the erroneous copy. After the matter was struck out, then started bad. He commenced the procedure by writing the NYSC again. And this time around, they reissued, admitting the error, they reissued. The IG has investigated, written to the NYSC, they confirmed same, and they have found out that the error was that of the issuing authority. And once the issuing authority owns up to the error, the certificate cannot be said to have been forged, even if errors are contained therein. More worrisome is the fact that newspapers have started publishing the issue of forgery of NYSC exemption certificate, and they said erroneous copy has been flying all over the places. So the question now is whether the copy presented was forged. It is only forged when the presenter altered it. But now the issuer says the error was mine.
And lawmakers in the House of Representatives may be in for a legal battle over alleged plans to buy 400 exotic cars for themselves, estimated at 5.04 billion naira. Human rights group Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project SERAP says along with 192 concerned Nigerians, it has filed a lawsuit asking the Federal High Court in Abuja to restrain the Speaker and all members of the House from spending that sum for the purchases. In the suit filed on Friday, February 21st, SERAP is also seeking a court order to stop the National Assembly Service Commission from releasing any public funds to the House of Representatives to purchase the vehicles until an impact assessment of the spending on access to public services and goods like education, security, health and clean water is carried out. In the meantime, the National Human Rights Commission says it is concerned about the recent attacks and harassment of judicial officers in their line of duty. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Mr. Tony Ojukwu, explains that the situation is further heightened by the increasing lack of safety of Nigerians due to actions of hoodlums, bandits, kidnappers and insurgents. Mr. Ojukwu also claims that judicial independence is greatly undermined when judges are no longer able to exercise their functions without fear of reprisals and kidnappings. The NHRC's comment is coming in the wake of recent attacks on the private property of Honorable Justice Mary Odili of the Supreme Court and the kidnapping of Justice Ijoma Eheme of the Court of Appeal, Benin Division. The NHRC's statement reads in part, "It is worse where such attacks on judicial officials result from performance of official duties following the delivery of judgments in election-related cases. Such are highly condemnable and portend great danger for Nigeria's democracy and the enjoyment of the human rights, especially the rights to life, freedom from fear of personal security, dignity of human persons, privacy and ownership of property as guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria." The National Human Rights Commission is appealing to all political actors and their supporters to, among other things, respect the rights of citizens to express fair comments on the judgments of courts without personalizing issues. Politics now. Former President of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, says he's happy with the reports from Edo State over the performance of the current administration led by Governor Godwin Obaseki. The former president, who is in Edo State on a private visit, gave the commendation when he paid a courtesy call on the governor at his residence in the state capital. Governor Obaseki, on his part, also commended the former president for informing him about his presence in the state.
Traditionally, as somebody who has been a president, a senior political office holder, when you go to a state, you have to pay courtesy call on the chief executive of the state. If you are free, if you are not too free, fine, but at least you will inform him. So we just come to greet the young man who is trying his best. We read the papers, we discuss with the people, and people are pleased. People are pleased.
I think for us, it's just extending the courtesy. I mean, this is the president, someone who has served the country at the highest level, and you heard what he said. Just courtesy when you are going to visit the states, you want to inform the person who is in charge of the state that you are coming. And if you have time during your visit, you can now pay him a courtesy call. Unlike the unfortunate incident that we've been having, in Edo State, which is really sad, where somebody who has been the governor of a state is visiting the state and does not realize that courtesy demands that he could inform the governor or the government apparatus of his visit, and that the chief executive is in charge of his security when he is in the state. So it's really sad and unfortunate that people who have served, who should know better, decide to behave the way they do, or behave with impunity and utter sense of lawlessness.
And in what seems like a response to the Edo State Governor, the publicity secretary of the APC faction loyal to Mr. Oshomole is accusing the state government of orchestrating violence in the state and embarrassing the party's national chairman during his visit to Edo State yesterday. 2 trucks had formed a blockade on the road linking Mr. Adams Oshomole, the APC chairman's house in Benin City, preventing him from gaining access. One of the trucks was later set on fire by unknown persons, a situation which also caused gridlock in the area. Mr. Chris Azebawan said the state government should be held responsible for escalating the political crisis in the state.
It's a very, very unfortunate development in the sense that the national chairman, Comrade Adams Oshomole, actually came to Benin yesterday to attend the burial ceremony of the mother of Honorable E.J. Agboanyima. Yesterday, the friends and associates of Agboanyima gathered around him to celebrate the passing of his mother. And being an APC member, he invited the national chairman, who honored him by his presence. And for whatever reason that is best known to them, the Edo State government mobilized thugs to go to the airport to embarrass the person of the national chairman. And they have escalated this to the point where they are now laying siege on his personal residence. This is a very unwholesome, very unwelcome development in the political space of Edo State. Edo State government has to be held culpable for the unfolding drama that is introducing violence into the political activities in Edo State.
Away from politics to security, residents of Garkida community in Adamawa State are counting their losses following the recent attack on their community by suspected Boko Haram insurgents. And one of their biggest demands is for security agencies to do more in protecting them. Our correspondent, Ibrahim Adra, reports.
Garkida is over 160 kilometers from Yola, the Adamawa State capital. Governor Amadou Fintiri's convoy endured a bumpy ride on an exceptionally bad road. The ancient town is home to several retired senior military officers and businessmen. It bears visible scars of the Friday evening attacks.
We're right now right inside the Garkida General Hospital, where the insurgents attacked and burned down some part of it, including this car behind me.
Also touched are worship places, private residences, police station, barracks, including military posts. The residence of the Chairman Northeast Development Commission is also not spared. Governor Amadou Fintiri visited all of them, calling for calm. Inhabitants narrate their ordeal.
One of the soldiers has engaged one of the car. He killed about 8 of them. They follow him and kill him.
This time they have decided not to only attack the houses, but every government structure here.
Youths in the area are angry. They accuse the security agencies of not doing enough.
We hear this and say they are coming to Garkida. They are coming to Garkida since before, around something to 1 or to 2.
Must be arrested and prosecuted. They don't command the charge. Enough is enough for us at Garkida.
The military, however, denied these allegations.
The soldiers did all the best they can, and that's why we are able to repel the attack. And we have also inflicted casualties on them. There have been follow-up operations against them.
Governor Fintiri laments the destruction, but expresses resolve to tackle the menace.
We've been talking with the military hierarchy. We will further reinforce this place with the military. We will recruit more vigilantes and empower them for them to give support to the military. But in the interim, we will send support, particularly palliative, to those affected.
While promising to assist, he, however, said the state cannot do it alone.
But I've seen the level of damage is too enormous that we have to ask the federal government and the international community, particularly the development partners, to come to the aid of this community.
Garkida
community is deeply agitated. It is also sharply divided. Only a thorough investigation will be able to appease them over the accusations and counter-accusations. From Garkida Development Area in Gombe Local Government Area of Adamawa State, Ibrahim Adra, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, Northeast and North Central leaders hold special prayer sessions for peace and safety of lives in the region. Stay with us.